Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of TCG Talk, back today with another video. And in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down week 1 and week 2 of the Road to National season this spring, as well as talking about prior metas and giving you some comparisons of what an open meta looks like versus what a 2 to 3 tech meta looks like. Kind of give you the pros and cons of both and just give my general thoughts. So to give you more like perspective on what this meta means for the game, in my opinion. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hopefully you enjoy your stay. If you're a long-staying supporter, thank you so much, as always, for all your support. If you've been watching this channel for a while, one, if you're not subscribed, maybe subscribe. That'd be great. A lot of people, I myself included, will watch several videos from a creator before I sub to them. Just like, I don't know, it's like a subconscious thing. It's really weird. And most of the time when I do sub to them, it's because they reminded me. So, like, the reminders do work. So if you've been watching and you like the content, definitely feel like it. If you've been subbed for a while and you want to support the channel a different way, check out the channel membership down below. We have 3 days left for the giveaways that are included on some of those tiers. So just check out the tiers, see if you would want to do it, see if it's worth it to you. But we'll get right into the video. So week 1 of the Road to National season, we talked about on the channel. Kano stole the show, right? There was a total of, just for me to remember, there was a total of 74 ProQuest events, or not ProQuest, Road to Nationals events. Week 1, Kano won 12 of them, equaling, a little bit over, 16% of the win percentage, which is high, but not as high as it's been in past metas. We'll talk about that in a second. Dash had 8, which was pretty expected. KO also is expected to be a really strong deck, and from Dash to about Kasai, we have 7 heroes here, I believe, if I'm counting correctly. Yeah, 7 heroes that had a 3-win difference. That's pretty balanced. It's pretty great. Some of the key ones were Kasai had a little bit less wins than I anticipated, but it's because of the Kano rise, right? Kasai's 2 generally bad matchups are Kano and Dromai. And with both of those decks, as you can see, being very represented in the win column and likely in the top 8 column. Because the one thing we don't have this year that we've had in prior meta reports is how many top 8s, how many representation. I think they're not showing that on purpose because they like the fact that people don't 100% know what's being most represented. So people have to make more educated guesses on their deck choices. I'm really loving that, by the way. But Yasai only had 5 wins, which is a little bit lower than I thought they'd have. Victor has 7. Victor, very strong deck right now. And it kind of goes down from there. Katsu with 4, which is cool to see. Prism and Azalea with 3. And then we had 6 other heroes make up 14 wins, including some notable ones like Bolton, Leviav, and Set got in there. Reinar, Uziri, and Phi, right? So then we go to week 2. Week 2, Kano went down. That was the biggest one. Kano went from 12 wins to 5 wins. Go figure. Yes, Kano's a strong deck. Yes, Kano is not fun to play against. I never play against Kano on Talishar either. I'll be the one to say it. I just don't. But when it comes to straight meta, right, not subjective, the decks that give Kano problems, KO, Levia can, because she has really natural spell void and is really aggressive. Azalea can give Kano problems. Katsu, Reinar started rising to the top. These decks that can give Kano problems because of their speed and their pressure kind of hurt Kano a little bit. And people probably started packing AB. Some of the Kanos maybe that won probably came off of Kano also, which helps. So Kano went down to 5. Victor rose up all the way from 7 to 10 wins, being number 1 in the week. KO stayed at the top. The 2 biggest winners of the week were Bolton, who went from 1 win to 8 wins, winning 1 win in week 1, and then having 8 wins in week 2. And then Levia as well went from 1 win in a week to 7 wins in a week. Both of those were the biggest risers of the RTN from week 1 to week 2. The biggest losers were Dash. Dash went from 8 wins to 3 wins, really went down, really suffered a little bit, which I'm really interested. Maybe tell me in the comments below. I feel like Dash has a pretty even spread into so many heroes, so I'm really surprised to see her go down that much. Reinar was really cool. Reinar had 5 wins, and from what I saw in the Purple Discord, it was 4 different builds that won a RTN. There was a Medax build that won. There was a, I call it a beatdown Reinar list with 9 Barraging beatdowns, basically every card that says the word Intimidate on it. There was a typical play for Blood Rush clause list. Really, really cool. And then we had 8 other wins made up by 6 total heroes. Phi again stealing 2 wins, I think it was this week, or it had 2 wins last week, 1 win this week. Max ended up getting on the board this week, as well as Olympia. So really, really cool, diverse meta. So what does all this mean, right? What do I mean by open meta? So this is, sorry, it's not sexy looking. I just wanted to get the stuff up there. This is so far the Road to Nationals meta snapshot, right? So total, we have 3 heroes with 17 wins so far, right? We've had 161 events, 74 week 1, 87 week 2, classic constructed Road to Nationals at least. 3 heroes make up 10% plus of the win share. Kano, Victor, and KO, and just barely over 10%, right? Then we have Dromai at 8% with 14, Bravo 13, Dash 11, Kasai 10 goes down from there, right? Really even spread. Like, yes, we have like these heroes right here that are really high, but once you get out of the Bravo range, from Dash all the way down to Levia, I mean, you have 6 heroes that have a 3-win separation, right? We have 7, 8, 9 heroes that only have a 5-win separation, right? We have a total of 3 heroes with above 10% of the win share, 11 heroes with above 5% win share, 14 heroes above 3% win share. So these are 3 really important key stats that I want you to pay attention to. Like, granted, we have more heroes to look at than before. Like, we have more heroes in the meta because more heroes have came out. But these are 3 like interesting data points I thought were cool to compare when it comes to the season, right? And we have a total of 19 heroes that won an event. Now let's look at, I don't have the Road to Nationals from last RTN season. I didn't aggregate that data, but I already had the last year's ProQuest season, which ProQuest and RTN, like, they have different things for winning them, but they are very similar to the same, honestly, when it comes to meta, because they're usually your local meta, right? So this was the June 2023 ProQuest season. Oldhim had we had 333 events, which right now we're on pace over the whole RTN season to get close to that. Not quite. Sorry. But Oldhim had 20% of the win share. Fi had 18 and Icelander had 17. This is a 3-deck meta that some of the pros are talking about, right? After these 3, so keep in mind, like I said last time, we had 3 heroes over 10%. We also have 3 heroes over 10%, but they're drastically over 10%, right? How many heroes in this RTN season? We have 11 heroes over 5% of the win share. In this, we have 7 heroes over 5% of the win share, right? So 11 to 7. The 3 is the same, but it's way more drastic. And then how many heroes did we have with over 3% of the win share? We're at 8, 9, 10 heroes over 3% of the win share, whereas in RTN season we had 14. So it's a more balanced meta holistically, right? 15 total heroes won in June, 19 have won in RTN, but again, we have more heroes to pick from. So generally in the middle of the field, it's also still very similar in terms of representation, right? Like from Briar to Lexi, we have, 5 heroes that are only separated by 5 wins, which isn't bad. But look, basically, if you don't play these 3 decks up here, you're at a severe disadvantage. You just were. It's just how it was. And then see the massive drop off down here. I mean, really, we had 10 decks that even won anything remotely significant. In this RTN season so far, we have pretty much 14 to 16 decks that have won, and it's a lot more even spread across the board. So this is a 3-deck format that most of the pros are talking about, right? So not quite as even. Basically, these 3 heroes dominated, and that's kind of how it went, right? I mean, Icelander literally had almost 2 times more than the next highest hero, and then it just went up from there, right? Then you even have more of a drastic meta. Now, this one is a different level, but I just wanted to kind of give it just to show like the most drastic. We had this is Nationals last year, the win breakdown. We had 44 Nationals events. Again, different meta level, but I just want to show it. 18 wins by Lexi. Now, granted, Lexi was Lexi. Everybody knows here. 18 wins by Lexi. Lexi made up 40% of the win percentage of Nationals. 40%. The next highest was 4 wins, Jeremiah at 9%, and it never went up from there. This is the most drastic. This isn't a 3-deck format. This is a 1-deck format with a couple like key wins from other people, but for the most part, it was a 1-deck meta. You either played Lexi or you played a deck that could beat Lexi. Tried to beat Lexi. That was it. So it's a lot crazier this is one side of the drastic coin, right? And the reason I wanted to bring in the Nationals breakdown is because national season is very close. We're going to have the Pro Tour, we have PQ season, and then we go right into Nats. And Nats is going to be a little bit Wild Westy because Part the Misfail releases like a week before Nats, 2 weeks before Nats. So it's going to be interesting to see what people do there. But I'm going to be interested to see how Nats is affected. If it's affected by Part the Misfail, it'll be hard to do it. But basically, like, another thing is we're going to go into a ProQuest season. We'll see the differences. I'm going to do a straight direct comparison during that because ProQuest season, we're going to see like how different it is, right? After the meta has been in for like 2-ish months, and we'll be able to maybe, rise a little bit more to the top. Is it going to be this drastic, or is it going to stay as open as it is right now? I enjoy this meta. When it comes to it, like, all subjectiveness aside, I'll give my subjective opinion then the objective one. The subjective one is I like it because there's two sides of the coin of this opinion. There's the top level Pro Tour level player, which, yes, they want 3-deck metas because they want to be able to test into what they think the best deck is, test into a counter, and then either play a best deck or play the counter to the best deck or play like this middle third deck that's just really, really good. And they can focus all their time and energy on that, and it makes easier testing and a more concrete answer to their sideboard tech and all that going into like a Pro Tour level event, which I get. Me personally, if I was a top Pro Tour competitor, maybe I'm sounding like too white horsey here. I wouldn't want that. I'd love having like an open meta where I can play my specialist hero that I feel confident in. And, I know I have one bad matchup. Maybe I tech into that bad matchup, and that's it. I don't know, whatever. For the health of the game, right, we're talking about health. Their term of healthy is a healthy Pro Tour level meta, which is the 3-deck meta. Healthy for the game is this right here, what you're looking at. From Armory to RTN level, you want the meta to look like this. You want the meta for people to feel like they can play almost any hero they want and have a chance at being successful. That is what healthy is for the game. There's no doubt about it. You cannot argue it. You just can't. There's even no subjectiveness to it. This is a class-based hero identity TCG where the strength of the game is all about making people feel like they can play the class that they love, right? When people get into this game, generally what hooks them is like they fall in love with Katsu or the Ninja class, so they fall in love with Dash, so they fall in love with Bolton, right? And they love the thematics of the hero, the play style, the class look, all that stuff. That's what gets people hooked, other than the competitiveness. And so if you want people to feel like every class has a shot, at least a reasonable shot. And in this meta, literally every class has a shot. There is not a class that you cannot play. Right, we have every class represented here, other than Bard and right, like the other and Merchant. But like every like normal CC class is represented here. So like, this is what's healthy in my opinion. It's gonna be interesting to see how this ends up, how it goes into the ProQuest season just after the Pro Tour, and then how Nationals breaks down right after Part the Misfail. It's gonna be interesting to see. I can't wait to come back and see how this data kind of formulated over that time. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Hopefully this gave you a little bit of insight on what's happening with RTN season so far. I'm really excited to see what happens last week. It's been really fun. We've had a lot of good events. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. If you like this type of content, please leave a like, comment, or subscribe. If not me, it's totally fine. Go to another Flesh and Blood creator, leave a like, comment, subscribe on their stuff so we can get more people seeing this game. And I'll see y'all next time on TCG Talk. Thank y'all so much.